Hey, welcome to another Q&A session with me, Samina, at Cloud9 Mindset. And some of the questions have been really interesting. Now, I realized what this question really got to me, and I thought, okay, this really deserves some input and some help. The question is, how can I support my teen, my anxious teen, going back to school? Now, I understand that in the States, you return pretty early, like in August. Here in the UK, we wait until September. But anyway, and I can see there was a lot of talk going on and a lot of questions sort of resonating the same fears. When they're at home, they're feeling a lot easier. There's lack of routine. They're sort of more in control of what they do, what they don't do, who they see, who they don't see, etc. And now going back to school is making them feel more anxious and nervous. So my first very, very easy, very common sense tip, which I'm sure you as parents, moms, you already know this, but talk to them. Talk to them about, what are your main worries? What is it in particular about returning to school that's causing you to feel like that, feel anxious and worried about going? And listen to them. That's the key, is just lean in, listen, make eye contact. Don't try to problem solve. They just need you to listen. And it's actually quite freeing when you realize you don't need to come up with a solution, Mom. You don't. Just listen. And then, there's some two very easy tips that I'm sure you've heard everywhere that's not exclusive to me. I'll come to that soon. But how about setting up meetups with their schoolmates, their friends? Maybe they could have a joint shopping trip, going to the store to buy supplies, back to school supplies, and that'll be like a nice way for them to have a coffee, have a drink together, meet them up, so it doesn't feel so like alien, like, oh my God, I'm meeting these people and I have to see these people again. So you can like baby step them into it. How about involving them in, getting ready for school and taking them on those trips? And it is exciting having new beginnings, and maybe pump up that excitement. Ooh, new uniform, new bag, new shoes, new this, new that. And if they're anything like me, they absolutely adore stationery. So stationery is the way to go. I'll talk about that another time, but as teachers, that's it. We just absolutely loved going into the stationery cupboard and getting all the new whiteboard pens, etc. Anyway, now here's my ninja tip, all right? And this is pretty cool, all right? And this is kind of the work that I do with my clients on an individual basis. So I'm giving it to you for free, right? And what I want you to do, dear mom, is have this conversation with them and ask them. Ask your anxious teen, imagine their life at school without feeling anxious. What would that life look like? Be as descriptive as possible and emotional as possible. Now, I know that's not easy, all right? Getting teens to talk, etc., etc. But lead the conversation. Ask them to write it down. They may not want to share it with you, and that's totally fine. What would their life look like if they were anxious-free and they're just fearlessly confident? What would they do? What would they sound like? What would people say about them? Oh my God, did you see that Hannah? She's so on fire now. She's so organized. She's so this, she's so that. What would it be? Because we have to use their words, not ours. It's very important that it's their subconscious mind which is coming out with these words. What would they look like? Describe how they would sound? What would their teacher say about them? What would their best friend say about them? Etc., etc. What would you say about them now that they have a life that's totally anxious-free? So write that down. And this could be, either they say it because they're like a speaky person and they're more sort of verbal, and you can type it and write it down, or they can just write it out themselves in private and, make voice notes to themselves. But whatever they do, it's an amazing tool, because now what you've done is you try to trick your subconscious into believing that there is a life waiting for them that could be anxious-free and they could be fearlessly confident. And that could be a mantra for them. However short they wrote it, 3-4 bullet points or descriptive, long adjectives. We like, powerful imagery. We like powerful words because they create a picture in our mind. So if they can do that, they can go to town. Awesome. Let them write that out, and maybe then they could perfect it. They could have that out on their wall in their bedroom, maybe near their window. I mean, I know sometimes Marissa Peers talks about taking a lipstick and writing it on their mirror, but boys or girls, whatever, write it out, put it near their mirror so that when they're getting ready in the morning they see it. and it's like a vision board for them, isn't it? A totally streamlined mantra. Put it up on the wall for them, let them see it. Maybe it could be their phone lock, but it's going to train their subconscious into believing and feeling and visualizing what it would be like without having anxiety and without having OCD, depression, etc. Okay, another trick, another ninja hack for you. Find a picture of them in the past, and it could be even in the summertime, something that you snapped on your phone, or they did, where they were happy. They were in the moment and they were happy. Maybe they let out a belly laugh. Maybe, you took them on a road trip. They were at the beach, anywhere. They were with grandparents where they felt themselves and they were just smiling. They were happy. Ask them to find that moment. So it's not you doing it. Ask them, because they know truly what they were feeling inside, and it wasn't, they weren't putting on a show or faking it or whatever. And then ask them, okay, now that you found it, what were you thinking in that photo? What were you feeling? And reminding them that, you know what, you could return to that and you could feel like that forever. Tap into that. I mean, we all have bad moments, but they could focus on that one image, and that could really anchor them back to a time when they were feeling good and they weren't feeling anxious. They're feeling totally confident. And maybe even that picture would be on their phone or in their pocket when they're at school. They can just look at it just to anchor them back into those feelings. It's pretty powerful stuff. Now, if you want some help, of course, implementing any of these free tips that I've given you, I can make a bespoke designer recording just for your teen, describing their life without feeling anxious and just being fearlessly confident. And that's the name of my program, 90-day program, to take them from feeling anxious and not wanting to put their hand up in a classroom and not feeling worthy or feeling they're good enough and never ever answering or offering their opinion, just waiting for the lesson to end so they could escape and holding it together during school. It's pretty painful. It's really painful for them, because obviously I speak to these teens day in, day out. But yeah, if you want more details, you want some help implementing these tips, please just drop a heart at this video and I'll get back to you with details. All right, no worries. So I'm probably going to make some sort of handout, but this is just a quick video for you. Some tips for you to help your teen, your anxious teen, go back to school feeling less anxious and more like themselves. Because remember, they weren't born with it. All right, take care, guys. See you soon.